We just got new previews for Hazbin Hotel Season 2 as part of the build-up to the new season, and hopefully soon its trailer. So let's break down the images we got and talk about what they say for Season 2. But make sure to subscribe, cause after these 8 images, we will get a trailer eventually, and you know, the actual season, and you won't want to miss out on our videos. First up, we got a few images of Pentious, but of course, it's Pentious in heaven. Obviously, Season 1 ended with Pentious seemingly dying in battle against Adam, only to suddenly appear in heaven as a glowing white angel. And right in front of Emily and Sarah, no less. In one image, we have Pentious surrounded by Emily, St. Peter, and interestingly, the new character Abel. Abel is the second son of Adam and supposed to be an important character in Season 2, so it makes sense that they would release this character's design as early as they did, what with these previews on the way. What's interesting is that all the characters here seem rather happy and positive. Emily looks like she's excited about Charlie being proven right, St. Peter seems to really dig Pentious with how close he gets to him, and even Abel seems to be really optimistic about what is happening. Oddly, the only one who is not smiling is Pentious, which is weird because he was the one who wanted to get into heaven and redeem himself, at least as far as Charlie's plan went. I have to imagine in this scene that Pentious is being told he's an angel now, but that they're all going to need to keep an eye on him, hence why Pentious looks exhausted, but not too crazy or anything. And unfortunately, it seems like whatever's happening here is only going to get worse, as in another preview image, we see Pentious in the heaven courtroom, chained down with angelic chains and crying in front of everyone. This is the same metal that they used to make the angelic weapon, so as long as this is around Pentious, whether he's in his angel or demon form, it actually makes him weaker and unable to escape. This could be a really early preview, which would make sense to show instead of something from later in the season, with this perhaps being in the first episode and having Pentious explain his case to everyone in heaven. He could be chained just for the comfort of the angels, but he may have already done something wrong to get himself in trouble as well. Even without getting in trouble, I have to imagine some sort of trial or court meeting is going to take place here, as they couldn't just hide Pentious for long, and he doesn't exactly have the subtle mind to keep his information from the rest of heaven for too long if let out loose. I'm sure that as soon as Pentious got into heaven, he would do something to mess up and would be seen as a threat to the other people, leading to a trial where he has to cry and plead his case. He really could even just be crying about how he doesn't know how he got here, with everyone else throwing accusations that he's some sort of spy, which I have to believe a lot of heaven's angels would assume. He was a spy in hell after all, trying to infiltrate the Hazbin Hotel for the work of the dirty overlords, the 3 Vs. For me, this is the most exciting of the shots with all the story they have in them, but of course there are 8 previews so far, so we're really just getting started. Another interesting shot from heaven, for instance, has Lute, the right-hand woman of Adam, who is mourning his loss and of course isn't going to trust Pentious being in heaven in general. Lute would know that Pentious was one of Charlie's minions at the Hazbin Hotel and would see him as entering heaven as the snake trying to sneak into the Garden of Eden to trick people. And she'd definitely have a vendetta against this guy after Adam killed him, but Adam ended up dying and losing his station in heaven. In this particular scene, we see paperwork everywhere, and if it's related to Pentious, she could be trying to find any evidence of something like this happening before to maybe use against him, but it's probably the first time. You'll notice it's a very dramatic looking shot, with tear marks on the wall, perhaps from Lute, and her shadow being cast dramatically as she poses. The show is supposed to have even more musical numbers than the previous season, so this might be Lute's big song and maybe the new villain song to set up the season. Maybe a whole song and dance piece about the revenge she wants and how she will get it between Pentious in heaven and Lute working with Lilith. Now after these 3 images, the rest of the previews we get more focus on Charlie and the hotel, being loosely connected at the very least. My favorite of these is a great blimp with a screen showing Charlie's face asking if she is a dictator, which I really hope sets the tone for Season 2. Previously, Charlie was seen as an absolute nobody in the Helliverse, despite being the daughter of Lucifer. In the pilot, people aren't afraid to swing and chop at her, and the general idea of Hell's citizens is that royalty is not remotely worth respecting, let alone the innocent daughter of the king who keeps this oppressive system going. However, Season 1 ended with Charlie leading a rebellion against heaven, who at the end of the day are the real rulers of hell, the ones who put Lucifer in charge and then set this annual extermination to kill those who are around. At first, this seemed like a rally for the people, the sinners in particular, as Charlie and her friends were heralded as finally doing something useful for once by Katie Killjoy. But this new preview indicates that the citizens of hell may also have a problem with Charlie trying to shake up the status quo. For the petty in Hell, this may be seen as just a fun way to destroy the system, but for those who use the system to milk people for all of their money, like the 3 Vs, this could be seen as very dangerous. It's important to remember that screens in Hell are all controlled by Vox, not just through his magic, but through his business empire, and he is very obviously an enemy to Charlie and the hotel, if only because Alistair is hiding out there. In Season 1, we saw Vox and Alistair go into propaganda campaigns against one another, with Alistair standing strong on the radio, but Vox still having a great and hypnotizing effect due to his control over all of the screens. So painting Charlie as a villain is definitely part of his plan to keep Hell's system the way it is, and to exploit each situation for his own gain. All season long, Vox is said to be more of an antagonist this season, even more so than last season even. And in the previews, we get one shot of him hanging out with the 3 Vs, and even one of him inside the Hazbin hotel. Perhaps after creating a campaign against Charlie, Vox will try and make peace with her, but in return, he's going to want something, and it's probably something Alistair related. With Alistair having his own agenda, I would really love if Season 2 explored the idea of Charlie wanting to switch sides to Vox, as what really matters to her is trying to help the sinners and get them into heaven. And spreading that news is hard without the help of Vox and the TVs, and Alistair hating anything video related to begin with. Alistair, meanwhile, is also going to have his own petty battle against Lucifer, with the two already beefing last season, trying to be the father figure to Charlie, or the actual father in Lucifer's case. Here, the two clearly still have some tension with each other, and I can just hear their snarky remarks as they talk about each other's performance in the last battle from the finale. Lucifer would belittle Alistair for losing to Adam, and Alistair would belittle Lucifer for showing up late at the very least. To be honest, this is a dynamic that I can't wait to see more of, especially with Lilith being teased at the end of Season 1 and really setting up how connected all these characters likely are. Finally, the last great preview in the bunch that we got is a rather casual shot of Charlie and Nifty at the hotel, but of course there is a new character there, Baxter. Baxter is a really old Hazbin hotel character that VivziePop actually talked about writing out of the series completely at one point, with early information about Baxter indicated that he was actually a character made by a friend or family member, and thus when VivziePop tried writing and developing the character more, she claimed to have struggled a bit with it. However, with the creation of Pentious in the pilot, VivziePop seemed to find a love for the mad scientist type character, and brought Baxter in as a new scientist for Season 2 now that Pentious is all the way up in heaven. I'm curious to see what his real plans for the hotel are, and of course I hope that he and Pentious do eventually meet each other so we can see them clash over their different approaches to the same scientist archetype. These were all the image previews we got so far, but with a new episode of Hell of a Boss just around the corner and a Hell of a Boss short before that, you just know that there's probably going to be a full trailer soon. Heck, maybe even this weekend if they're already sharing images. But what do you guys think? And if you think it through, does that make it any more valid? Let me know if your thoughts are valid in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.